Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to make parathas in under 30 minutes. Parathas are crispy, buttery flatbreads that can be eaten alone, with tea, eggs, really anything. They're best enjoyed as part of a weekend breakfast, so you have time to take a nap afterwards. Ready to go? I'm Masala Mama. Let's get started. This is what you'll need. In terms of tools, you'll need a medium mixing bowl, liquid measuring cup, dry measuring cup, teaspoon, rolling pin and board, spatula for flipping, and last but not least, a shallow frying pan. Ideally something like a crepe pan. This will make it easier to flip the parathas. You only need 6 ingredients for this recipe, which will make 6 to 8 parathas. Atta flour, which you can buy at any South Asian grocery store and even many large grocery stores or bulk barn. Very cold or even frozen unsalted butter, a little vegetable oil, some all-purpose flour, a little salt. You'll also need warm water. You can find the details of the ingredients in the description box below. Now to begin. We're going to make the dough. In the mixing bowl, add in 3 cups of atta flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of oil, and mix. Slowly start adding in the warm water, about half of a cup at a time. Start incorporating the water and the flour mixture with your hands. I'm making the dough by hand, but you can always use a stand mixer with a dough hook. In total, you're going to end up using 1 to 1.5 cups of water. The goal is to have a smoothish but firm consistency in your dough, but it will still be a little sticky. I'll show you what it should look like in a second. Once the dough starts coming together, you're going to want to knead it, adding some water to your knuckles if needed to prevent the dough from sticking to your hand. Luckily, this is a very forgiving recipe, so for any given step, you don't have to worry about being too precise. If you think you've added too much water, it's not the end of the world. Just add more atta flour. This is the firm consistency we're going for. A little sticky, but you should be able to poke the dough and leave an indent. Let it rest covered for 15 minutes. After the dough is rested, it should be a bit more firm, but not as sticky. You'll want to keep the all-purpose flour by the side of your board. Tap your hand in the flour and grab a handful of the dough, about 2/3 the size of a tennis ball. Lightly tap the dough into the flour on both sides, place it on the board, and start rolling with an even weight. Roll it out into a rough rectangle of about 6 by 3 inches. You can add a little flour when you're rolling anytime it gets too sticky. It's butter time. Grab your grater and your unsalted butter. Your butter should be frozen or very cold. It's the only way you'll be able to grate it. You want the butter to cover the rectangle without going to the edges, about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth. Flatten the butter down and with small folds, roll the rectangle into cylindrical shape, lengthwise. With your palms, roll the butter dough out so that it's about 12 inches long with 1 centimeter circumference at the end. Wrap the dough into a swirl so it looks like a cinnamon bun. Flatten the swirl and make a disc. Now roll out the disc until the paratha is just around the thickness of a tortilla and about 8 inches wide. just a bit wider than your hand when opened fully. You'll see bits of the butter throughout the dough. That's a good thing. That's where the paratha will be crispiest. Here's a tip. Parathas can easily be frozen at this point for future cooking. All you have to do is take the rolled out buttered dough and place it on a plate or in a container that can be frozen, and separate the parathas with saran wrap or wax paper. Place in the freezer in a sealed container or Ziploc bag. It can be cooked straight from frozen. Speaking of cooking, turn your stove on to medium heat, never higher. Heat up your pan to the point where a drop of water sizzles as soon as it hits the pan, just like that. Add the paratha straight to the pan. Add about a tablespoon worth of butter on top. After about 20-30 seconds, you should start to see the edges of the paratha start to firm up. Once about an inch around the bottom edge has firmed up, it's time to flip. Move the paratha around the pan while it cooks. One tip is to fold over the sides of the paratha to make sure the edges don't overcook before the center is ready. You can reduce the heat if you worry about the butter starting to burn. You're going to flip it again one more time when the underside has browned. Once the paratha is a golden brown color and the crispiness is very evident, it's done. Take the parathas off the pan and onto a plate. Look at those edges. This final step seems odd, but it maximizes crispiness. This is what my mother used to do. Grab the paratha, hold it up vertically, and then quickly and briefly crumple it down onto the plate. Don't worry, it won't tear, but it will break up the edges to provide even more great texture. And voila, you've made a delicious, crispy, buttery, and divine paratha. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know how your parathas turned out in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now. Masala Mama out.